The playgrounds are empty. The schools are shut down. The streets are barren. This is a world without reading. You're sad. Oh dear! Well, luckily for you, the cat is here. Hello, I'm Litter Boxa, Boxavine's feline sister, here to talk to you about the importance of children's literacy and how we can help inspire future generations to have a good, solid relationship with the written word. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Early literacy is the foundation set up not only to create a child's ability to read and write, but really to develop their imagination. And to me, nothing is more important than my ability to dream. Sometimes in my dreams, I want to be a painter. Get it? Because the cat's in the hat? Sometimes I dream I could be a chef. And sometimes I dream I could be in a band. Woo! If I didn't have literacy, how could I make any of my dreams come true? If I didn't know how to write, how could I write my name on my painting so everybody would know that they're mine? How could I read the music to be able to play it with the rest of the band? And if I can't follow a recipe, who's gonna say that I'm gonna put salt in instead of sugar? You've got brains in your head, you've got feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. Our teachers are the base of helping our children understand the basics of reading and writing, which really puts them on a road to a good relationship with the written word. Now, you might be asking yourself, why the heck is she dressed like a cat? And that's because I was inspired by my favorite children's author, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss created a network of books that not only used primary words that really help build children's vocabularies up, but also tackled such amazing issues as the environment. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. No, it is not. The Lorax tackled environmentalism and the real devastation of cutting down our forests. A person's a person, no matter how small. Horton Hears a Who teaches children to respect other people, no matter how big or small they might be, that everyone is truly equal. The Grinch thought of something he hadn't thought of before. What if Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store? What if Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more? The Grinch Who Stole Christmas helped to teach children that Christmas isn't just about presents, but your family and the relationships that surround you. How am I personally going to help children's literacy? Well, I would like to create more videos like this, where I'm in imaginative costumes based on the Dr. Seuss characters, reading his iconic classics, so they can start developing a love for his work, and then start reading them on their own. How can we as a community help children's literacy? Well, all we have to do is start by opening a book. Reading to a child in our life will show them that we're passionate about books and that they should be too. Simply reading to a child a couple times a week even can help stimulate their brain enough to create their imagination to a new level. If children can't read, how can we expect them to grow? And as we all know as drag queens, reading is what? Fundamental.
Hello everyone, my name is Miss Sticks and Stones, and I am here to take a stand. Now, I think we all know that there are certain words in the drag world that we like to use to create comedy, but there is one such word that I'm here to talk to you about. It's interesting because with everything that's been going on in the world, the word tranny is still something we use quite frequently, and quite frankly, I think it's time that we put a stop to the T word. I think that the most important thing to remember is that we as drag queens have performed alongside of transgender performers since the dawn of drag. I kind of find it frustrating that we continue to use this word, especially when we as drag performers have it better than our trans sisters and brothers. Because in the long run, they deal with things in a much different light than we do. Obviously, we deal with the issue of being stared at or something like that, but we don't have to deal with it on a daily basis like they do. So using the word tranny like that is really unfair. We, as performers, are constantly trying to keep our audience entertained, and we're constantly trying to be funny, but the fact of the matter is that using oppressive words like that, especially against people that are performing alongside us, really isn't fair. Nor is it funny. It's a cheap joke. Using words like that for shock value and for amusement of the audience really isn't doing anyone any good. It's not funny. And in the long run, it's really very damaging. We already have seen through this whole discussion that we've been having that trans people have spoken out and said they don't appreciate this. And yet, there have been several queens that I know of that during this whole thing said, I don't care, I'm going to use it anyway. I think that's a problem. And I think that we as drag performers forget that we do have privilege. Sure, we like to think that we're not privileged, and absolutely we do have it difficult in a lot of ways that a lot of normal people don't have, but we do have a privilege. We are just performing. This isn't our lives. And while trans people do perform, it's their lives at the same time. And then there's the whole issue of censorship. A lot of queens that I know of are very offended by the fact of, well, it's my art. I don't appreciate people trying to censor my art. But in the long run, why does your art have to contain oppressive words? Unless you're making a statement, unless you are using it to create a sense of sarcasm, why does your art need to contain words like that? And if it's your word to use, and you are a quote-unquote tranny, or a quote-unquote faggot, or a quote-unquote whatever else, if you want to use that, then that's your choice. But don't forget the fact that you do have an audience. You do have people that are watching you, and you don't know their story, and you don't know their life. And you using those oppressive words in your art can oftentimes cause someone emotional or physical harm. And as Sticks and Stones, I think I know more than anyone that words can hurt you. And maybe they don't break you, but they certainly can make a really, really intense impact on your life. And as ridiculous as that sounds, those things do happen. And of course, we cannot control what other people do and how other people respond to our art. But I think it is important to remember that our trans brothers and sisters are just that. They're our family. And now more than ever, they need our support and they need our love. And I think that while we continue to use these words as humor, our brothers and sisters are being banned from doing things that normal humans should be allowed to do. And we're buying into that. We are telling the rest of the world that it's okay to strip other people of their rights, that we agree with it. Why not instead reach out with love? And sure, we can have moments of art that makes like a really heavy statement, but in the long run, it should be a statement that causes people to want to change, as opposed to art that makes people want to continue to use words like that and want to continue to think that it's funny. And if you're laughing at that, I would really encourage you to think about why. What about that's funny? And why does it appeal to you? Because, like I said, we're all a family. And family means that we take care of each other, and that even if we may not agree with each other, and even if we may not understand why our family does certain things or feels a certain way, that you respect them. And I think that it's high time that we do that. So as a family, I vote that we strip ourselves of the privilege and that we strip ourselves of the need to feel that we are dignified in what we do. I vote that we listen to each other more and that we try our best to understand each other's perspectives, because in the long run, we're all that we have. We just have each other. And that's a really beautiful thing. So let's take care of each other. Let's be kind. And most of all, let's be courageous. Thank you.
In the last 7 years alone, there have been 55,000 deaths among children as a direct result of bullying. That's 8,000 per year. 22 per day, and nearly 1 every hour. And these numbers are staggering, especially among gay, lesbian, and transgender youth. The names and numbers on my gown represent children and their ages when they committed suicide as a result of bullying. And this is just a few. Like I said, in the last 7 years, there have been 55,000 suicides by children as a result of bullying. All of these are unnecessary. Every single one. I've been doing drag now over 15 and a half years. And in that time, I have done a lot of outreach work and working with youth to help fight bullying and to help curb suicide. I've actually been in a club when somebody was on a mic chanting for a 17-year-old to go kill themselves. And the worst part is, the entire crowd got involved in that. I watched that queen walk off the stage, being tore down, and feel like she had nothing to do but kill herself. And on top of that, seeing so many faces in the audience from children who were experiencing the same thing at school and at home, but they were at this club for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender youth to feel like they were safe and wanted. And to see that in that moment and see them crushed and see some of them walk out of there was devastating. The reality is, it is still going on and it's going strong. I've witnessed some of the people right here in the Drag Battle Royale cast be bullied and treated horribly, been told that they're no good and to quit what they're doing. I've heard some be told that this world would be better without them and they just need to end their lives. That is something I refuse to deal with. I've seen this go on for far too long, and I've seen way too many children take their own lives because people feel the need to be mean and put them down. And it's disgusting. It's heart-wrenching to see this, to feel that there's nothing else that these kids can do than to take their own lives because people in the club, and especially now with social media, being cyberbullies, those people are pushing these kids to go kill themselves. And that's not okay. And you know what? It doesn't end with children. I know plenty of people in their 20s that are being bullied just as much, if not more. And it has to stop. It's nonsense. 55,000 kids in 7 years killing themselves because other people bullied them and told them to? How is this okay? The reality is, within our own community, here, as kings and queens, there's too much bullying going on. There's too much suicide happening. There's too much hate. I promise if I become the winner of the Drag Battle Royale, I will continue to do the work that I've done for over 15 and a half years. And that is to be a person for the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender youth to come to know that they have an ally, a mentor, somebody on their side, somebody who is not going to put them down for their art or their views or their way of expressing themselves. To know that it's okay to be different. You don't have to be the prettiest queen or the dancing queen or the comedy queen or any of those things, because we're all different. And the reality is, that's okay. The thing is, we're all different, and we should be able to support and love each other for what we can each bring to the table. So stop the hate and stop the bullying and start supporting one another. Thank you all for listening to everything that I had to say today. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I promise to keep doing the work. And please know that if any of you out there ever need a friend or just somebody to talk to when you feel like you have nobody, I'm only a message away. And I love each and every one of you. So please keep spreading the love and stop the hate. And most importantly, remember, #world peace. I love you guys.